Well, lo and behold, we actually have a weather system approaching, a cold front, and that could trigger off some scattered showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms for Thursday, probably mainly inland, but we'll talk more about that. There's even a little touch of severe weather risk in the mix. We've got some severe weather tonight in parts of Kansas, but actually, most of the weather around the United States is quiet. We'll check out the tropics. The Pacific is busier than the Atlantic. All that and more on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And if you'd like and you shop on Amazon, just use our referral link at the top of the chat board or on the description or this podcast to get there. Because if you do, you just get your stuff, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. It doesn't cost you 1 cent out of your own pocket. And it helps us because this way we can keep the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast live version commercial free. And Tempest by Weather Flow. If you don't have a weather station yet and you're a weather freak, well, you're going to have to get with the program here. Get yourself a Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this is on the descriptor to this podcast. Use that coupon code, Joe Rayo.
2020 summer 2025.
And if you do, you will get.
Gee, I don't know. What are we going to get? Oh, yeah, 10%. 10% off.
So what's it been? I mean, outside of last Friday, it's been basically 9 days, right? 9 or 10 days where the weather has been pretty quiet.
Yeah, and sometimes in those old grade B detective movies, the guy would say, "It's quiet. It's too quiet." In other words, something is looming or will be looming around the bend. I don't know what it might be, but it's only so much tranquility that you can take. I can take.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, certainly for the weather enthusiasts, this is a quiet stretch. They would describe it as a boring stretch. I think most normal people would describe it as a stretch of beautiful weather. By the way, I saw somebody posted that for New York City, this was the coolest summer since 2012.
Well, in terms of summer, I didn't think it was all that great because of the humidity more than the heat.
Well, July was awful. July was really awful with respect to that. August was much better. Certainly, a third of August was about as nice as you can get.
I can see Tom Contino already questioning my Facebook weathercast for Saturday. Rayo going for 86 Saturday? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, Yeah, I am. I'm going for 86 on Saturday, Tom.
Yes, Tom is too busy cleaning up his mess because I think the sewer line backed up into his house.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, isn't that attractive? Oh God, we wish you well, Thomas. The tropics are still quiet in the Atlantic, although we do have a weather system out there, and we do have every run of the GFS takes one someplace different. The European can't seem to find it after a while. The Pacific, you got two hurricanes out there, I believe, and one is impacting the Baja Peninsula.
Is that where the Baja Marimba band used to play?
Right, yes, exactly. Lorraine is a very small hurricane, by the way, so wind is not really going to be the issue with that. It's probably going to be some big rains, especially in the mountainous areas, which could approach 10 inches or more, and that's always problematic. But Kiko kind of moving its way westward toward the Hawaiian Islands, but still has a long way to go before it gets there. The Atlantic wave is very disorganized. I tried to pull up a loop of it, but there's something going on with the GOES satellite where there's a lot of missing frames. So you'll just have to trust me on this. It still is disorganized, although the Hurricane Center has it at an 80% chance of developing into a tropical depression over the next couple of days.
Okay, well, we'll see how that all pans out. The next name on the list, by the way, in case you weren't tuned in last night, is the G storm in the Atlantic Basin, and that would be Gabrielle.
Yes. Welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight. Send some towels Tom Contino's way. And welcome to those of you who are lurking in the background. We always like the lurkers here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is Sunday through Thursday schedule here at 7:35 p.m. We are on Fridays and Saturdays when there's a big storm around. We rearrange the schedule a little bit and let you know that we're going to add an extra show or two, but we're not doing that this weekend. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And so that Joe Rayo gets to toll the bell every once in a while. If you like the show,
Yes,
even if you like it just a teensy bit, what should they do?
they should hit the like button. And
Uh,
and and indeed, if we get to that magic number of 100, I will ring the bell, and the bell sounds something like this. But I
yes,
haven't
it
been able to do
does.
that for a long time, at least for 100 likes.
That's right. All right. The watches and warnings map tonight's a little busier than it has been. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for let's call it the southeastern quarter of the state of Kansas and 4 counties in Missouri. We have flash flood watches for southern Arizona and parts of southeastern California in the desert areas. We also have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings for parts of Oregon and Washington, along with some red flag warnings that are up there. Some wind advisories up for the Dakotas because a cold front is moving through. And as that cold air arrives, the northern third of Minnesota, Joe, and northwest Wisconsin, a lot of counties under frost advisories, a sign of things to come. Not not
Indeed.
not not anytime soon, but a sign of things to come.
Well, it's finally starting to cool down a bit, and in some parts of the country, and we will one of these fine days see the first frost warnings going into effect here. Not in the immediate future, but it has been getting pretty chilly at night, Joe. I mean, some of the in the lower Hudson Valley, we've been seeing readings down as low as 49 or 50 degrees these last few nights. A lot of dew around this morning, and what can I say? It's gonna. We'd think that, at least I think, it's going to warm up significantly for a couple of days. See the dew point temperatures climb into the 60s, and might see a few showers to deal with. Maybe even a rumble or two of thunder tomorrow night with one of two cold fronts. That'll be the first one moving through tomorrow night, early Friday. And then there's another one coming our way probably for later in the day on Saturday.
And it's behind the second front that we're going to start to see another cool down again for Sunday in the first half of next week.
Yes, absolutely. May in fact be the biggest cool down of all, with something like a 1026 high pressure cell moving right in our direction, and will be predominating our weather here from later Sunday through Monday and Tuesday, and maybe even into part of the middle of next week on Wednesday as well.
As each day goes by, the chances of hitting 90 degrees again gets low. It gets lower and lower.
Absolutely. I think at Central Park, I may be off by one or two, but I think so far at Central Park they have had 14 90-degree days, 14 days where the temperature hit 90 plus, and the normal in a typical summer is 17. So this may be why you said at the onset of the show it's been the coolest summer since 2012, because the fact that the number of 90-degree days is below normal.
Although Newark, I think they had something like 25 90-degree days. I
Right.
think. And
I mean,
Philadelphia also had more 90-degree days, somewhere in the 20s, I think.
you know, for those days when New York Central Park, let's say, got to 88 or 89 degrees, Newark and probably Philadelphia were probably closer to like 95. And I would also suspect that Teterboro would go right along with Newark and Philadelphia for above normal. So New York City, they just fell short on a number of occasions from ringing or hitting that 90-degree bell.
Tom Contino wants to know how many 90-degree days I've had. I will go back and count them shortly, okay, because it's going to take me a little while to scroll through 3 months of data. Um, I'm going to say probably under 20, but um, we'll see. But in the meantime, no, we don't have any adverse weather conditions up and down the eastern seaboard. It was another really relatively quiet day. Goes is having some problems tonight. I'm going to switch over. Let's see if it's the same with the. Those were the ones with the lightning strikes that you could see. I'll switch over to just the regular visible to nighttime infrared loop and see what's happening. But I'm thinking there's a problem here because his pictures are a little slow to load. In the meantime, it was a nice day. You did have a little bit of scattered shower activity across parts of the deep south and in the Tennessee Valley and the lower Ohio Valley. In the Northeast, it was mostly no worse than partly sunny day. The area of clouds that you see back in the Great Lakes and that sort of comma shape tells you that you got probably a decent solid system here that is moving across southern Canada. Actually, it's over north of Lake Superior, and the low is going to go more northeast than anything else. But there's a trailing cold front with that. The issue is that uh, there's not really the air behind it is almost the same as the air ahead of it. So here's the radar, and kind of busy with showers and thunderstorms. There's a nice line here, Joe, cutting across Michigan into northwest Indiana and through Illinois. Looks like these storms have already passed through Chicago. There's some storms, and it extends almost all the way down to St. Louis, for God's sake. That's about the most active area of thunderstorms we've seen in weeks.
In quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we may see a line of showers and possible embedded thunder showers hitting our area tomorrow night as this cold front moves in on our area. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything massive. It doesn't appear like we're going to be under any kind of threat for severe weather. At least that's how it looks right now. And once that front moves on by, things should actually improve during the day on Friday with clearing weather. But there's a second cold front, and that's the front that Joe alluded to that will bring in that big, beautiful high pressure system from Canada that will set the stage for more than a few lovely days here with blue skies, bright sun, and low humidity and more comfortable dew point temperatures. But that won't be heading our way, cold front number two, until Saturday. And then behind it, looks like great weather for much of Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and maybe even part of Wednesday of next week as well.
You see the scattered storms in parts of West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, into Tennessee. Also a little cluster there in southern Alabama and southern Mississippi. Out in the west, a little further west, as we go into that area where we have the severe thunderstorm watching, there are four severe thunderstorm warnings up as of 7:50 p.m. Eastern time, moving into southeast Kansas, going well to the south of Kansas City, that area there. And then we have busy radars here in the southwest across New Mexico. Instead of, we've been so used to seeing thunderstorms lining up and down I-25 from Wyoming down to New Mexico. This is the first time in ages. And I don't know what interstate that is that goes across northern Texas, probably from Oklahoma City to Amarillo, and I guess intersects at Albuquerque with 25, and then goes straight west from there into Arizona. But the storms are sort of lined up there today from east to west. And we have some flash flood warnings up in parts of Arizona, northern Arizona, and also into southeastern California. Some showery rains extending up into Nevada and on up into Oregon. The Storm Prediction Center tonight has a slight risk of severe weather in that zone in Kansas into Missouri. That's where we have that severe thunderstorm watch up at the moment. Otherwise, it's either just general thunderstorms or not much of anything at all with respect to severe weather. Now, tomorrow, SBC's got an area of marginal risk that covers a good chunk of New York State, mostly west of I-87, just about all of Pennsylvania, just kind of nudging into the western portions of New Jersey, a good chunk of it, almost all of Maryland, most of Virginia except the southeast, all of West Virginia, southeast Ohio, into Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, just about to me on the southern end in North Georgia, and the western half of North Carolina. First time we haven't seen any severe weather risk in a long time. I tend to think, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I tend to think that uh, the risk area they've drawn is correct in terms of how you should draw it based on what we're seeing on models, and that east of there, when you get right along the immediate coast, the chances of thunderstorm activity are probably going to go down. And I think they could be one of those days where you might, if you're in that zone of general thunderstorms, it's a pretty good chance you might not see much of anything. But I think the severe weather is going to be confined to the area that they have inland. I don't think they're going to expand it to the coast. And I don't know. I suppose they might add a small area of slight risk in there.
They always look at these things in the morning and make a determination, and possibly will perhaps add, as you just alluded to, Joe, a slight risk of severe within the marginal risk. And maybe if they don't do it tomorrow morning, they just may do it by midday or early afternoon for the update. So it would not be unusual. We've seen that happen on more than a few occasions for that. And, some of the short term models are suggesting that, especially in the evening hours tomorrow night, late evening hours, a good part of the tri state area will come under the gun with possibly a few heavy downpours and maybe even some thunder shower activity as well. So if we do get wet, it probably is going to hold off until after sundown tomorrow. So you can go out tomorrow, probably don't need the umbrella, but anytime after, let's say, 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, if you're going out, bring along the umbrella because you may very well need it.
So to answer Tom Contino's question, Joe, 20 days here in North Georgia where the temperature got above 90. The highest, I think, was 95. And I had 5 days in June, 12 days in July, but only 3 days in the month of August.
Okay. And that's in spite of the fact that you're at 2,200 feet.
Yes. Now, in town, which is 600 feet lower, I'm sure their number of 90-degree days is probably a bit more. But that's why I live at 2,200 feet. Now, Friday, it's just general thunderstorm risk that's being indicated, not at the coast, but from Maine southward down the Appalachians and then going all the way west to the west coast. No marginal risk at the moment anywhere. And as far as the next 7 day, day 4 through 8 time frame, uh, predictability is too low on days 4, 6, 7, and 8. And on day five being Sunday into Monday, potential is too low. What do you think of the possibility on Saturday that we could wind up maybe with maybe a chance for an isolated severe thunderstorm?
I I did just go. I actually only went for a chance for a few late day showers. I didn't even mention the possibility for any lightning or thunder on Saturday, but I did mention the possibility for shower activity later in the day, and also kind of a warm and somewhat muggy day with temperatures in the mid 80s and dew point temperatures reaching into the low to mid 60s. But behind that second cold front, wow, what a big drop in the temperature. Temperatures will be about 10 degrees cooler on Sunday, and the dew point temperatures will drop back into the 50s on Sunday. So a big improvement between Saturday and Sunday. Right now, Joe, I did not mention any convection for Saturday.
Okay. Rainfall wise, again, it's basically a quarter of an inch in most places from Connecticut to New Jersey. They got a little patch of half there in central Jersey. Inland areas, excuse me, from Kentucky and Tennessee northeastward up through Pennsylvania into upstate New York and Central and northern New England, you have an area of 3/4 of an inch to some areas as much as an inch and a half. Still seeing heavy rainfall amounts for Central and South Florida, particularly for South Florida, where we're looking at 3 to 5 inches or more over the next 7 days. In the west, you see the rain that's indicated over the Baja Peninsula from Lorena, and some of that heavy rain is nosing, at least by WPC's forecast, nosing into southeastern Arizona and southwest New Mexico. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we've got some precip being indicated for the Pacific Northwest for the next 7 days on the order of 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half. Now, to check with Tom Contino because he's upset with you with your, what did you go, low to mid 80s on Saturday?
No, I went. I think I went 86 on
Oh, so right,
Saturday.
so low to mid 80s.
Yeah,
Mid 80s. So
it's
Friday,
essentially
this is the Weather Service's digital forecast, where they have most highs pretty much between 83 and 85 across New Jersey, New York City, the Hudson Valley, Connecticut. A little cooler across Long Island, particularly eastern Long Island in the 70s because the wind is going to be more from the south. And on Saturday, ahead of that next cold front, um, well, Joe, the Weather Service is going for 85 for Poughkeepsie and 86 for White Plains. So I think his forecast is pretty much in line, Tom. I'm not sure why you have an issue with it. But if you go into western Pennsylvania, here's where the cool air is on Saturday. Central and western Pennsylvania, Joe, and parts of western New York and upstate New York, not out of the 60s for daytime highs. Same holds for Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin. So that's your cool air coming in, but it doesn't quite make it to the coast on Saturday. On Sunday, on the digital forecast, mostly low 70s for highs.
yeah. Like I said, if go for 86 on Saturday, I went about 10 degrees cooler on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're talking about mid 70s on Sunday for much of the lower Hudson Valley, and I think that's going to be a pretty good bet.
All right. So let's get the tropics out of the way. And here's our disturbance, which at 8 o'clock. Trust me when I tell you that on the satellite, from what I could see, it's very disorganized. But the Hurricane Center's got an 40% chance over the next 48 hours, an 80% chance over the next 7 days, and on a general west northwest. God, I'm having trouble talking tonight. West northwest course. Hurricane Lorena at 23.1, 112.9, moving northwest at 12, 985 millibars and an 80 mile an hour top wind. It's a small cyclone and forecast to make a turn to the northeast, weaken a bit. So we have the blue area here. Blue is tropical storm warnings. They don't have hurricane warnings up for the coast. They have tropical storm warnings up for the coast. Tropical storm watches on the Gulf of California side where the storm is expected to at that point a tropical storm moving northeastward and into New Mexico. If it takes its track, it's probably a good bet that that rain is going to get into parts of southern Arizona and into New Mexico, and you see the track on that. Meanwhile, Hurricane Kiko is now a major hurricane. It's a Category 4, Joe, Category 4 at 13.9 and 131.6. Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii is at 155. So you're talking 14, 14 degrees roughly times 60. So you're talking about at least 850 miles to the southeast of Hawaii. I'm sorry. When it gets to I'm doing to Sunday. I take it back. So right now it's at 131. So it's 24 degrees times 60. So it's still about 1,500 miles from the big island of Hawaii.
Well, if it reaches now, where's the boundary zone between what is referred to as the Eastern Pacific versus the Central Pacific? Is it
I think when
140
it
or
crosses one,
145?
I think when it crosses 140.
Okay, so if that be the case, that means that sometime overnight Friday night or early Saturday first thing, the folks over in Miami or in Florida, the National Hurricane Center, will hand off Kiko to the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, which is located in Honolulu, which is also the same office for the Honolulu National Weather Service. They kind of double up there, so that'll be uh, that'll be interesting to see how things pan out beginning this weekend as to whether or not the storm can hold on to some of its strength and whether it will be a significant threat again to the Big Island by either the end of the weekend or the start of next week.
Kiko on the satellite loop, which I just the floater loop has a well-defined eye, although and a small eye, starting to get that buzzsaw look, and you can see the GOES is having some problems with some of its images, but there it is. It really isn't all that big in terms of the coverage and geography, and we might as well take a look at. Let's see if we can. Maybe I'll bring up the eastern East Pacific. That's the wider view. It should be the wider view, I think. Boy, they're a mess here. All right, so there's Lorena on the top near the Baja Peninsula, and then you can see Kiko on the left. Lorena just off the Baja Peninsula by less than 200 miles, and Kiko on the left. Again, small and continuing to move westward. It's really funny because you would think Hawaii would get more hurricanes than they do, but they're in an area where there's almost like semi-permanent shear with upper winds being stronger than otherwise would be in other parts of the tropical Atlantic or the tropical Pacific. So it's got to be an almost perfect setup for these storms to actually go over the Hawaiian Islands and maintain some degree of strength.
Yes, it'll be the waters around Hawaii also are also somewhat cooler than the waters of the Pacific located off to the east. And so a lot of storms which start out off of, let's say, Baja and then churn their way westward and sometimes reach, Cat 3, Cat 4, even Cat 5. You say, oh my God, Hawaii is in big trouble. As soon as they get within striking distance of Hawaii, a lot of these storms start running out of gas or losing a lot of their steam. Most of the storms that are significant to Hawaii or potent for Hawaii are the ones that develop to their south and east and manage to move at a very rapid pace up to the north and west and into the Hawaiian Islands. In other words, storms that start over the central Pacific and don't evolve over the eastern Pacific and then work their way or plod their way slowly but surely westward toward the islands. This may be one of those oddities, one of these anomalies that where this storm actually started out over the eastern Pacific, but may actually hold together enough to be of some noteworthy significance to the islands when we get to later on in the weekend and early next week.
And here's the GFS's view where it takes it on the west northwest course and then starts to weaken it as it approaches the big island of Hawaii. And it does have it as a tropical storm passing just north of the islands, going all the way through, and then it just goes out into the Pacific and goodbye. We'll take a look at what the European did with this, and then we'll come back to the East Coast. So the European, um, the European. It's funny how this happens, though. As you go from a hurricane, all of a sudden the pressure it's just about to hit the big island, get to the big island, and the whole thing just falls apart. It's just about gone. It goes from being a tropical storm with a pressure around 999 or 1,000 millibars, and then in less than 24 hours, there's one closed 1012 isobar, and that's it.
And
It is remarkable.
I've heard of getting of diminishing or weakening fast, but that's almost ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So here's our situation here. And you got this cold front comes through tomorrow, like this big arm around a low that's sitting west of James Bay, whips around. The air behind it is, it's pretty much the same as the air ahead of it. So that's why the temperatures are actually going to be higher on Friday with the southwest wind and into Saturday. Then that cold front, the second cold front arrives with some showers and thunderstorms later in the day, Saturday into Saturday evening. As long as the front keeps on moving, the GFS kind of hangs it up a little bit Sunday morning, but it eventually does get it out of the way, and another big cool high spreads through the eastern half of the United States. Uh, Everybody gets into this the cool, dry air, the Great Lakes, the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, the Deep South to some extent. Maybe not so much down by the Gulf Coast where there could be some cloud cover with an old frontal with the cold front probably stalling out there. And then longer term, there's another front that comes later next week with a high from eastern Canada that builds down. And then, of course, here comes to this run of the GFS, this tropical system, which it brings. Whoa, look at that. Brings it to off the Virginia coast to just southeast of Long Island and over Cape Cod. So that's this run.
Well, that's the 18Z. Did you see the 12Z run?
Right. The 12Z has like a Cat 4 that goes into
It's
right
Hurricane
along this.
Hugo. It's
What's
Hurricane
that?
Hugo all over again.
Yeah, and then it goes from there. It goes to Cincinnati. Clean to Cincinnati.
All the way to Cincinnati.
Well, it actually goes west of Cincinnati. But no matter. More like Louisville. Look, as I said yesterday, this sort of stuff we got a long, long time to watch, and it's not even developed yet. So it's let's wait till it gets going, and just to check, just to get a flavor for what's going on in the upper atmosphere, which is going to be ultimately important. Obviously, the driver. Here's a deep trough in the east that we just went through, that we're about to get into. Uh, Deepening trough in the eastern part of the United States. Really nice wrapped up upper low there north of Lake Superior that brings down the cool air, eventually swings into the eastern states. It pulls up into Labrador, uh, and then we see the flow becoming a little more westerly. There's another trough that swings through eastern Canada and New England around September 10th. And then that goes out and leaves some kind of lagging trough behind. I mean, this is one of these situations, at least in terms of the models, you don't really know what's real or not real here. So, we had the situation with Erin where some of the early model runs were leaving lagging troughs behind in the Appalachians and down into the south, which would argue for a storm taking a track much further to the west. Ultimately, the hanging trough didn't happen. You had a straight northwest flow from Lake Winnipeg to New Jersey, and that forced this thing to turn to the northeast and east, making a sharp right turn off east of North Carolina and goodbye. So you have to be dubious when models do this, especially, obviously in the long term. Long, long way to go before we have, anything that we could put out there with any kind of confidence. So
I
the
mean,
models are
Joe.
just going to do what they're
I
going to
mean,
do.
I mean, like the 6 hour difference between the 12Z and the 18Z, where we have the 12Z bringing the storm in right near the South Carolina coast and then pushing it all the way up toward Cincinnati. And meanwhile,
Yeah,
six
but
hours later,
look at the 18Z. What it does, it's got like a 6 or 7 contour cutoff over Lake Michigan, and just picks the storm up and just lifts, and just rocket ships it up the East Coast.
so there's going to be innumerable changes in the trajectory of this thing between now and when it finally does arrive in the vicinity of the Atlantic seaboard. So don't hang your hat on any one particular model or any one particular forecast because it's going to be changing quite a bit from time to time and place to place over the next week or 10 days or so.
Oh, you are so right, Mr. Ray. You're such a wise person. Um, let's let's do Briller Jeopardy. As we're doing average highs for the month of September, Joe. Average highs for the month of September, like we did yesterday. So today, and we seem to be going somewhat in alphabetical order. So today we're going to start with, we mentioned it earlier, Cincinnati. The The average high for Cincinnati.
Okay.
Care to guess?
72.
72 is considerably too low. Harold Olson gets it, though. 79. 79. Let's go south to Dallas, Texas.
How about for Dallas or Dallas Fort Worth or whatever? 93.
That is actually too high, but David Fuller gets it, and so does Patrick Darcy with 90. 90. Now let's go to another D city, Detroit.
Well, Detroit, I probably would be on the coolish side as compared to, let's say, Cincinnati. I'll say 7 for that one. I'll say 72.
Good guess, close, close. Northern Grace gets it tonight, and Anthony gets it as well, 74. They're coming up with these numbers really quick. Maggie P. too, 74. All right, next, Joe, Honolulu.
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 How about 87?
Oh, so close. Oh, so close for Honolulu. Your 82s are too low, folks. And nobody's got it yet. No, I'm waiting. Come on, come on, come on. Not yet. No. No. Still no one's put it up there.
Well, you said I was very close, so
Yes.
it might be. Is it 89?
Also very close. It's News Radio 88. 88, Joe.
Okay.
88. Hartford. Oh, Christinapedia said she said 88. I'll trust you. I won't go back and verify it on the chat, Christinapedia. 88. Hartford.
77. WABC.
Very close. Bobby Livingsworth, John M. Got it, and Carol DeCara, 76. 76. Now for the bonus tonight is Death Valley. What is the average high in Death Valley?
111. 111.
Yeah. That's too high. Christinapedia, you're hot. You got a hot hand today, Christinapedia. That's you're very close with the 105. John M gets it, 106. And the second part of this question, Joe, what is the all-time record for September?
For Death Valley?
Yes.
Well, we know they hold the all-time record, period, for some spot on the face of the earth. It's 134, I think. So I don't know if I was I don't think it was in September, but I'll still go ridiculously high. I'll go 130.
That's a little too high, but Mark D 42, 127, and Kenny Salerno, excuse me, at 127. That is the record high for the Valley of Death. Yes, and there you have it. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. We don't have any additional pearls of wisdom. I got to get my hair cut. It's been over a month and it's out of control. I'm going to get that done tomorrow. I was going to get it done today, Joe, but I was at Home Depot because I'm going to get a new kitchen.
Well, if you get a Powerball ticket and win, you can get about 100 million new kitchens.
I'll settle for one. It's expensive enough. My God. But no matter. I'll see if I can get my hair dyed. Done tomorrow. And on that note, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7:35. And yes, Christinapedia Powerball, what's it, 1 point something billion?
1.3 billion tonight.
A mere bag of shells.
If you decide to take it all in one lump sum, I think you're going to get not 1.3 billion, but you'll get a half a billion.
No. I'll settle for whatever we can get to get somebody to shop on the Amazon referral link.
Oh yeah, 1.4 billion. Excuse me.
1.4.
I
All
didn't
right.
mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to deny anybody. Point 0.1 billionth of the lottery, but yeah, it's
Exactly.
1.4 billion.
Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, folks.